Hi, my name is Rhonda Taste. This is my video presentation. Robert Whitaker's book, Anatomy of an Epidemic, was enlightening. It explained how individuals with mental health diagnoses respond to neuroleptics. What are neuroleptics, you ask? Neuroleptics are antipsychotic drugs given to patients diagnosed with bipolar or schizophrenia. Over the years, there have been several studies showing that the negative impact of neuroleptics on the brain if given over long periods of time. Some of these side effects are delayed cognitive and problem-solving abilities. The book also shows how many people diagnosed with mental health disabilities are not medicated or who are no longer taking medications go on to lead normal lives. They even go as far as working professional jobs such as doctors, lawyers, teachers, things of that nature. It also discusses the outcome of individuals who stay on the medication for long periods of times. Those individuals often circle in and out of hospitals. They ultimately lose themselves in their diagnosis. A big takeaway is the praise and the use of psychotropic drugs. Whitaker's book talks about how the rise of mental health illness cases are casually related to psychotropic drugs. He exposed how most of the medications are pushed and shoved on people by doctors who are readily able and willing to write prescriptions. He showed how just because one is diagnosed with a mental health illness does not mean that they need medication or will have to stay on medication throughout their lives. I found his book enlightening. He showed the misrepresentation of pharmaceutical drugs and mental illness. I like the fact that the book it showed how the medications were helpful, but it also showed the harmful effects. It didn't just show one side of it. It exposed it all. And it was a tough read at first, but eventually when you start reading it and you start understanding the book, it becomes very interesting and you learn a lot. One common question I believe all who suffer from a mental health illness disorder is, why me? How did it become that I have this illness? As an individual who suffers from anxiety and depression, I asked my provider the same question. Why me? Out of three other siblings and myself, why was it me who was diagnosed with the anxiety and the depression? What I've learned is that mental health diagnosis, they can surface for more than one reason. It can be hereditary, it can be brought on by environmental stress, biochemical imbalances, or a combination. In fact, one may never know why they were the one who was diagnosed. It's sometimes unnerving. But a diagnosis is not the end of the world. As long as it's treatable, you'll get through it. One model I think is going to be heavily used now is the recovery model. The recovery model uses empowerment and shifts the responsibility of recovery from that of the mental health provider to that of the client. It puts the client in control and focuses on resilience and building control. The recovery model focuses on the whole person, not just their symptoms. An important component of the recovery model is a good support system to help provide encouragement, help when needed. In my practice, I will use it as a holistic approach. I will use it to treat the entire person. I will combine several services under one umbrella to ensure that my client is empowered to take responsibility for their recovery. So let's talk about this new word that I found. I really like it. It's called saneism. This word is used to identify the stigma and the biases of mental illnesses. This word is saneism. It is used to explain discrimination toward individuals with a mental health illness. The only way you can combat saneism is through information, awareness. You have to expose the truth that having a mental health illness makes you different from others, but it doesn't make you less than others. As a social worker, I would spread awareness by setting up table clinics in my community, maybe even creating a blog to discuss saneism. Taking a blindfold off. Ignorance may be bliss, but it doesn't help. It destroys other people's images or their self-confidence and how they see themselves. Everyone is different. A mental health illness does not have to be a tag. It's not the end of the world. It's treatable. You can relate to someone with a mental health illness. They're not leopards. They're people. And we have to make sure that we teach our community to address their fears. If you're afraid of something, ask about it, learn about it, and help your community open its eyes. Any type of racism or bias is wrong. No one is perfect, but we are all human beings. Now let's talk about this book by Elin Sachs. Elin Sachs wrote a book called The Center Cannot Hold, A Journey Out of Madness. It was a provocative read. Her story was very powerful. It was a true example of the recovery model. It was put into use by her. She did it on her own. Of course, she had therapists along the way, medication along the way, but what I mean by her own is that she always tried to remain in control. She empowered herself to be the pilot, and she directed herself out of that madness. I feel like when you think of someone such as Elin Sachs, I feel like if you have a mental health issue, you can see yourself in her. You feel like you're in a dark tunnel trying to claw your way out. And Elin Sachs was empowered to do just that. She was in that dark tunnel and she clawed her way out. If you are struggling with a mental health illness, if you know someone who's struggling with a mental health illness, or if you just want to learn about mental health illness, NAMI is a very good source. I encourage you to go online and look up NAMI. Maybe download Elin Sachs' book, The Center Cannot Hold. This is a way to inform yourself because you're not the only one. Thank you for watching my video presentation. Have a good day. Bye.